Last week at Sisters Cafe,
Faith versus fear. So we walk in even if. Take away that what if. We're going to erase and replace, right? We're going to erase what if and we're going to replace it with even if. So remember that next time something happens, even if I didn't get that promotion, even if I got a girl instead of a boy, even if my car tire is flat, even if the doctor said that I have A, B, and C, even if it doesn't happen my way, I know that God is able. I know that He is sovereign. I know that He knows what's best for me. I know that His plans for me are good and not evil. I know that. Even if it doesn't happen the way I thought it was happening, I trust you. I have the faith to believe that it will work out because your word says so. Y'all believe the word. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the fear. Believe the word.
Just call me. I'll be there. It don't matter. Just say where. I'll be right by your side. Through everything, you know I'll ride. Just stay cool. I'll come through to pray for, encourage, and uplift you. When my sister wins, I win. When my sister wins, I win. At the Sisters Cafe.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to Woman Crush Wednesday here at Sisters Cafe on Power Influence Radio. I am so glad that you have decided to stop by. Be sure to follow me on all social media platforms. You have to like it, you have to subscribe to it in order to follow everything. Subscribe to the website www.sisterscafeinc.com. That way, you are one of the first people to know about the events, itineraries, prizes, the radio show, promotions, cafe swag, and every time a new episode airs, you will be the first to know. So you can go to www.sisterscafeinc.com and subscribe because you can be part of the squad if you subscribe. So the squad is the first to know. If that's something you want to know, if that's something you are interested in, please subscribe to the website because I don't want to leave anybody out. Nobody. If you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the Sisters Cafe YouTube channel. So that way, if you missed the live or you missed the Facebook event, then you can go back and watch it on YouTube at your convenient time. So whatever works best for you. We're not in a hurry. You can watch it now, you can watch it later. But make sure that you subscribe. That way you are notified every time a new episode comes out. So hit that subscribe button. All right, do me a favor. Take a moment and like and share this video so that you don't keep all the information to yourself. Share it with your friends. Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. Also, leave me a comment. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And most importantly, let me know what you are ordering today in the cafe. I'm so excited, y'all. Thank you for being here. Make sure you talk back to me. So today, I am going to give you some tips on time management. It would just not be fair if I learn something and I don't in turn give it back to you or give it to you. I like to share. You hear it a lot. I wish there was more time in the day. I don't have time for A, B, or C time. You know, one thing I like to say is me and time are not friends at all. At all. It just seems like it's not enough time in the day, right? Right. However, it is. It is. God knew what He was doing when He gave us 24 hours. And guess what? Everybody got the same 24 hours. It's not like super rich people got more hours. It's not like Poor people got less hours. It's not like us in between or teeter-totter in between half and half. Everybody got the same amount of time. Choosing what you do with that time is what makes the difference. This is actually Benjamin Franklin who said it best when he stated more than 80 years ago that time is money. It remains as pertinent today as it did back then. The thing is, we don't even recognize when we are wasting time or what things waste our time because we've included these things in our everyday lives, our everyday routines. So therefore, we are missing valuable time every day. Now, although the dangers of wasting time goes beyond money, it can really lead to serious frustration and even burnout. You want to know how? I'm going to tell you. Inefficient use of our time causes us to spend long hours trying to complete the things that don't really take that long. It don't. It don't. Let me ask you, how many times do you go on Facebook to post something and then you end up in there for like 2 hours? A lot of times, right? And we don't even realize. We just happen to look up at the time and it's gone. My alarm used to go off at 6 a.m. And the goal is to get up, check my schedule, make myself breakfast, get dressed, and get to work. But literally, if I open my phone, so boom, alarm rings, first thing you do is you pick up your phone to turn off your alarm, right? But of course, most of us then go check Facebook because for some reason it's the most important thing in the whole wide world. So we go and we check Facebook. Before you blink, it's 7 o'clock. Before you even blink real good, or before you look up again to see what time it is, hours have passed by. And that is what I mean by time wasted. These are the activities that drain our valuable time without meaningful return to our productivity, effectiveness, or fulfillment. It could be as simple as the errands we run, the habits we engage in, or even the tasks we say yes to, despite the fact that it's consuming our time and it offers little to no value whatsoever. Such as the habitual need to check in on social media every 5 seconds, or that often unnecessary meeting that we had when we could have just emailed that information. Those are good examples of time wasters. Time wasters can have a significant impact on our lives, and then it creates some type of domino effect, if you will, in the rest of the areas in our lives, be it professional, personal, or even spiritual. We risk blocking our own progress by failing to address these time-consuming habits. Let's break down some of the impacts that time wasters have on our everyday life, and I mean every day. One of the impacts is reduced productivity. Time wasters are actually enemies of productivity. They don't even like each other, like oil and water, like heaven and hell, like sin and righteousness. They don't flow together. They are merely distractions that keep us from achieving our goals and reduce our ability to be efficient. Another impact is increased stress. Time wasters diminish and devalue our productivity. Therefore, work, bills, errands, and all types of tasks, they tend to pile up, leaving us super stressed. And too much stress can affect our mental and physical health. Is that worth wasting time? No. Another impact is poor work-life balance. We already got poor work-life balance, like real talk. We talked on Sisters Cafe not too long ago, saying that balance was just a myth. Who, if anyone, has actually created a balance? Balance implying that everything across the board is equal, right? That's what that implies. However, you have to do what works for you, right? But you have to do a work balance that works for you, a life balance that works for you. Another impact is that of a poor work-life balance. Time wasted often means that things will take us longer to get done, especially at work. This infringement of wasted time can lead to an imbalance, which in turn affects our work, relationships, health, and hobbies. All that because we couldn't manage time. There's also financial effects to this. Time wasters translates into wasted resources. This is where we understand that time is money. So if you waste time, you waste money. A decrease in productivity equates to monetary loss, impacting the bottom line. Time is money. Time is indeed money. Another impact is frustration. It causes frustration because inefficiency without adequate results can lead to life dissatisfaction and possibly depression if not addressed swiftly. Another impact is a potential for burnout, continual engagement in non-productive tasks. Let's repeat that. Continual engagement in non-productive tasks and long working hours without tangible outcomes can lead to a state of chronic physical and emotional exhaustion. We know it as burnout. That's what that is. You're working, but there's no progress. There's no fruit. There's no tangible evidence that you have done all this work. It's not. There's nothing to show for all the work you've done. Time wasters come in all shapes and sizes, all types of forms, from mundane to the seemingly insignificant. It's important to recognize that even small actions or behaviors can add up over time. So understanding if what you are spending time on is worth it or not can be beneficial when trying to save precious minutes. Take inventory of what you're doing, what your habits are, what you like to do, what you spend your time doing, what you put your energy, effort, and blood and sweat and tears in, your resources, your ideas. What do you put all those things into? And are you reaping a reward? Do you see the progress of it? Do you? Because we don't want you to burn out. I'm saying we, but I mean me. I don't want you to burn out. It's not a good state to be in, especially if you don't understand what's happening, because you'll try your best to even push past exhaustion and burnout. And that leads to a whole different thing. This is where you end up with your nervous breakdowns and whatnot, because you keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Sit down, have a seat. Let's discuss a few of the things that can be considered time wasters. Number one, unnecessary meetings. Ooh, I am an advocate of just email me. Like, real talk. We don't need to meet. We don't need to talk. We don't need to nothing. Email me. That way I'll read it and get a good understanding in my convenience, right? Right. Ooh, meetings are often seen as super necessary, especially in the workplace. However, it can quickly become a huge time waster if not managed effectively. I know we've been there. I know we have sat through them. I know we have witnessed them. I know we have created them. We have. So I know you know what I'm talking about with these unnecessary meetings. Yes, no, email me. Email me the update. I don't need to be there. According to a study conducted, over 67% of employees, board members, and church staff say excessive meetings prevent them from completing their work to the best of their ability. Yeah, imagine that. Imagine that. It's kind of hard. I've been in situations, jobs where, you get in the morning, you grab your coffee, and the first thing you do is have a meeting. That generally did not have to happen. So now you have to ramp yourself up and get in the headspace, as they would say, get your head in the game so that we can do the work, the actual work. the actual work. To avoid wasting time in unproductive meetings, number one, limit them to 30 minutes or an hour, depending on what you got going on. Limit them, which means when the clock strikes whatever, it's a done deal. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. It's done. It's done. You should also make sure that there's a specific reason, purpose for this meeting. You have to. It has to be a purpose. That's how you waste time. There's no purpose. Not only should you be clear about the agenda or the reasoning for the meeting, but the people that you invited need to have a clear understanding of not only what the meeting is for, but what you expect of them at the meeting. You don't tell everybody what you want from them right then. Have it already. If you prepare them and get their head already in the game, it could eliminate a lot of wasted time. You just come in the meeting room ready to go. Let's hit the ground running. We already know. Set a clear agenda beforehand and stick to it. Let me say it loud for the people in the back. Set an agenda and stick to it. And avoid scheduling meetings back to back to back to back to back. So there's some breathing room behind. That's very tedious, I guess you would say. If anybody has ever been in that situation where you got all day meetings, you had one at 8 o'clock, you got one at 8:30, there's one at 8:45, there's two at 9 o'clock and a couple at 10:12. No. Can I breathe? Can I go get a drink of water? May I use the restroom? Always leave room in between and give people breathing room, which also keeps them prepared and working efficiently, not tired, burned out, or having to use the bathroom so they don't say nothing because they hold their pee. All right. Another time waster. Y'all don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at me. But social media is one of the biggest time wasters thus far. It is the most significant time waster in and out of work. With all the platforms being just a click away, just getting lost in a scroll session is so easy to do. So easy to do. It's not even on purpose that we do this, but it's almost like you start to scroll and you don't even come up for about an hour to an hour and 30 minutes. No air. While social media can be used for networking, promoting your brand, keeping up with your childhood friends, military buddies, and family, it can be one of the biggest time wasters of them all. If you find yourself constantly checking Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Pinterest, LinkedIn, it don't matter. It really don't. Group Me. What else we got? Google Meets. I don't know. WhatsApp. Whatever it is, if you find yourself constantly all throughout the day checking these things without it being a source of your income. So let's be clear. Some people get paid to scroll. More power to you. Some people get paid to scroll. Some people get paid to post. So I'm not talking about y'all. I'm not talking about those kind of people. If it has no true benefit to you to scroll for hours and hours and hours, then it's time for you to cut back. For real. It is time for you to come back. You being team too much right now. Really. If it's your job, amen, power to you. If it is not your job, what you can do is designate specific times for social media. You got to do that. Just, okay, I'm going to do it at this time. I'm going to just check it at 10 and 2. I'm going to check it at 10, 2, 12, 8, 9. So you set the time that you feel is best for your schedule, but set it. Just designate the times. For those who are not disciplined enough to stick to those times or cut themselves off when necessary, you can use like blocker tools, website blocker tools that were designed for those who lack the discipline to be focused on the task at hand. So you can definitely do that. There's ways. There's ways to get whatever you want done. There is. Absolutely is. Another impact is email overload. Yeah, we got so many emails. I'm not even about to tell you how many emails I got in mind. Let me just give you a little hint though, because I was just trying to clean it out the other day. It's going to take me probably a good week. No phone, no nothing, lock my door, don't go nowhere and get it done. This probably would take me a week to get through all of these emails. Like, why? Why? But I was checking my emails and I was trying to get rid of stuff. And I thought, you know what, let me go ahead and clean this out now. Because, you know, Google's at the point right now where it's telling me your storage is 98% full, your storage is 99% full. And then it became where in a minute you won't be able to send or receive emails. So I thought, okay, let me go ahead and get this taken care of. I started from the back. I decided to start from the back, but my email dates all the way back to 2012. You won't believe that. Well, believe it. I am a keeper of things, especially things I think are or will be important. I'm a paper trail girl. I am. So therefore, I keep a lot of things. But I'm sitting there and I'm like, how did I really just pull up an energy bill from a whole nother state, a whole nother city, at a whole nother house where my children were little? Like, for real, for real, for real. Needless to say, that's way I am doing too much. But it's easy. It's easy to happen, especially if you start subscribing to things and you forgot that you subscribe to them and you don't read them no way. Then they pile up. They pile up very quickly. I was so glad when these platforms decided to separate them. Yes, that means I probably kept more emails, but I like that I can stay in my primary box. I don't never have to look at the sell at Dillard's or nothing else because I stay in my primary inbox. I don't have to be worried about the updates for social media because I stay in my primary mailbox. However, all that does need to be cleaned out at some point. So those are some of the unnecessary things that we can take out of our daily routine, or at least structure them so that you can have a more productive day. We're going to pause for the call. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
This segment is brought to you by the best version of me. No apology needed, no permission required. The best version of me is for those who struggle with their loyalty to others versus their obligation to themselves. It is the aftermath of being what everyone else wanted and needed you to be. It is about learning that self-care, self-acceptance, and self-love is your responsibility to yourself. When it is all said and done, when the curtain closes and the fog clears, it will be just you. Doing what's best for you without apology or permission is not selfish, it's necessary.
Welcome back. I'm glad you came back. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and to the website at www.sisterscafe.com. And if you haven't, make sure you like and share this video so that somebody else can benefit from the information that is being given. I know I'm about to step on somebody's toes, and I would say I'm sorry, but I'm not. But I would be doing you a huge disservice if I don't share with you everything I know and learned about being the best version of yourself, which is the true goal, which is why we are here. It is. This is why we are here, to be the best versions of ourselves. And of course, nobody knows what that looks like but you. So ponder on what the best version of you looks like. And I would be so interested in learning. Send me a video. You could send me a video, post it in my DMs, or email info@sisterscafeinc.com, and send me a short video just letting me know what the best version of you looks like. So what that will look like is a video that says, "Hi, I'm Gladys." The best version of me says no to others so I can say yes to myself. The best version of me has graduated and becoming an attorney next fall. The best version of me hops on planes when I get good and ready. So that is what your video will do. And of course, you're sending me the video, which means you're giving me permission to use it. So although you haven't signed the release, this is your release. When you send it to me, you're giving me permission to use it. This time waster is called what we all know very well as procrastination. Procrastination. We've all been guilty of putting off tasks we don't want to do. Nobody want to do that. We always assume we got more time, but that's the actually big misunderstanding of I got time. Time is not only not my friend, it ain't yours either. It just really isn't. I see where we can, say we have something that we could start on Monday, but we choose to put it off, and now here it's Friday. But on Friday, you get a call that you have to go do this, or, the house burned down, or you got locked out of the house, or, you know what I mean? Something came up. You didn't feel well. You got sick. You had to go help somebody else. So now your Friday is not even open enough for you to get done what you could have started on Monday. So it is better if we take out the time that we know we have at that moment, because tomorrow's not promised, not just in a death situation, not just in a loss situation, but tomorrow's not promised, period. I think about with editing and creating these shows, where right before hurricane came, and I'm like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do this tomorrow. Oh, I got time on Tuesday. I'll take care of it. Lo and behold, Tuesday, it's raining. Internet goes out. Power is out. All kinds of stuff. You got a hurricane blowing through. Fences is coming down. But you just knew you had that kind of time on Wednesday. This is what generally happens when we continue to put things off. It's not promised. Next hour is not promised. Do what you got to do when you know you got to do it. Because if you have the ability, and I'm not talking about if you did not or could not, absolutely under no circumstances could you have got that done. I get that. But I'm talking about the people who decided, okay, yeah, I ain't doing nothing now. I probably won't do nothing later, but I ain't gonna do that. I'm talking to those people who purposely push it off. Why put off tomorrow what you can do today? Think about that. Think about that. Sometimes it's just the task is too big, and it's just like, look, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that, and I don't want to do that either. So you got 3 things on your list, and you don't want to do none of it. You don't want to do nothing. My advice is to try setting smaller goals. If you tend to constantly put things off, defer, if you will, defer tasks, try chunking them up. Make them smaller tasks in order to achieve in a certain amount of time. So instead of doing your whole hour editing, do 20 minutes at a time in a certain amount of time. Breaking up things into smaller goals or tasks is actually a method. They call it the Pomodoro method. It is an excellent way to prevent procrastination by working in chunks with small breaks in between. So you're still getting it done that day. You just are taking a break in between every 25, 30 minutes, whatever it is where you start to feel a little kind of ways about sitting here doing some work. This helps you to break it up. And getting up and taking a break gives you maybe like a rejuvenation type thing where you can be like, okay, all right, let me get back into it. This technique is a time management technique that involves working in a focused 25-minute intervals, followed by short breaks. This technique is named after tomato-shaped kitchen timer used by its creator to test this method. And his name was Francisco. I'm not even going to attempt his last name. But he came up with this method, basically, what they say about how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Same concept. So we're going to eat the elephant today, but we ain't going to eat them all at once, right? So we still eat them. We just ain't got to eat them all at once. Sounds reasonable to me.
Tip 2 for week number 2 is figure out what the best version of you looks like. Many of us say we live in our best lives. We want to be the best version of ourselves. We want to be this, we want to do this, but we actually have no idea what that is. But it takes a minute to figure out what the best version of you looks like. It's not about what anybody else wants, what anybody else needs, what anybody else, anything. It is what the best version of you looks like to you. So I ask the question every seminar, every panel, every podcast, every workshop, what does the best version of you look like? Remember, the best version of you is without apology or need for permission, period. You have to figure out what you like. It's going to require you to spend some time alone. Some of us have that opportunity, many of us don't. Get along with yourself and learn you. What do you like? What makes you smile? What makes you happy? What brings you joy? And it's not about the money or the flash or the trips. What are the simple things? Simple things that make you smile. Simple things that bring you great joy. Me binge watching a show, I will wait till all the segments or episodes have shown, and then I get to binge watch them on Netflix or whatever. That is the best version of me. Oh my, with no interruptions, no nothing. Just me, a cup of ice, and binge watching that show. Right now I'm binge watching Chicago Fire. But it's whatever works for you, whatever makes you smile. Figure that out first. So week 2, tip 2. Figure out what the best version of you looks like. Remember to stay connected at www.sisterscafeinc.com. And don't forget to join the Best Version of Me Challenge. I'll see you again next week for another tip on how to be the best version of yourself.
Another time waster is unclear objectives or goals. You're going to do nothing but waste time if you ain't got no idea what you're supposed to be doing. Like for real. If you don't know what you're working towards or what the end goal is, it can be very challenging to stay motivated and focused on the task at hand because you don't even know what it is. You don't. You're aimlessly wandering. In other words, you are wasting time. You are wasting time. Y'all, I don't know if I said it in the beginning, but that is one of my biggest pet peeves. It really is. It really is. When my time is wasted, it makes my skin itch. Oh, please don't waste my time. Please don't waste my time. I take true offense to my time being wasted. I do. I don't know when I got like that, but I think I've been like that for years. As long as I can remember it, I don't know why, but man, ooh, talking about get under my skin. That's grounds for distancing, disconnection. Don't waste my time now. Don't waste my time. Do not waste my time. But on the flip side, I'm not going to waste yours. Real talk. It's not just a one-sided thing. I don't want to waste I don't care who you are. Your time is valuable to me, just as valuable as my time is to me. So I'm not going to waste your time. And please do not waste mine. But unclear objectives and goals. We waste a lot of time on unrelated, irrelevant tasks that have nothing to do with our goals, nothing to do with our purpose, and nothing to do where God is taking us. Nothing. And we waste a lot of time on it. Real talk. Write the vision and make it plain. This is why companies and organizations and ministries and anybody else have clear mission statements so that we have a goal. There is a goal, there's a way to get there, and there is a finish line. So that everybody is on the same page. This is why it's written. This is why it's written. But if you walked into somewhere, I don't know what I'm here for, don't know why I'm here. Usually, think about it. If you do something or you go somewhere and you feel like there's no purpose to it, do you stay? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So this is the same concept. It's a waste of time. That's the first thing you're going to say, right? This is a waste of my time. If you came to the doctor's office at 9 a.m. for an appointment and the doctor walks out, maybe shakes your hand and just says, I just wanted to see your face. Ooh, I can't even imagine what would be going through your mind or what would come out your mouth. Like for real, I can't even imagine. Another time waster is perfection. While striving for excellence is good, don't get me wrong. Spending too much time perfecting every little detail can actually lead to more mistakes. You didn't know that, huh? Can actually lead to more mistakes. Instead of striving for perfection, focus on doing the best you can with what you know and with your time. Remember, sometimes good enough is just that. It's good enough. I'm not saying slack off, because some people, you ain't wasting your time because you ain't putting no time in it at all. Don't get it wrong. Most people can tell when you have not spent any time whatsoever. So no, your good enough is not good enough. I'm gonna need you to put some more work into that because you didn't do nothing. And you know you didn't. You know you did it. It can be a big time waster to spend hours going over details for a task to ensure it is perfect when you could have completed multiple tasks or multiple goals or multiple functions within that time frame with a good standard of excellence. Perfection is not always necessary, so don't waste your life pushing for it in every little task. Now, some things might require more detail, more review, more work, more effort, but it's not something you have to always be doing with every little task. Let's make sure that we set realistic standards, not just for us, but for other people. We be expecting a lot from a lot of people. Set reasonable standards for everybody. And don't agonize over the small details. That don't matter in the grand scheme of things. As we would say, don't sweat the small stuff. Don't. I'm going to have to do a podcast on that. Don't sweat the small stuff. If it's not going to matter in the bigger picture at the end of the road, when you reach your destination, if it's not going to matter, then it don't matter. It don't matter. Like real talk. It don't even matter. Learn to let go of control of certain things and delegate tasks where appropriate. Accept that mistakes will happen because we are human, and that's just part of life. Now, the next time waster, y'all, I had to learn this one the hard way, but another time waster is multitasking. What I thought I was famous for, multitasking. Here lies the never-ending debate over multitasking, whether it's indeed worth it or not. Let's get into that one, because contrary to popular belief, multitasking is actually less efficient than completing one task at a time. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. When we try to do too many things at once, our brain becomes overloaded and we make more mistakes. I watched a news segment on this years ago, because when I tell you I am Miss Multitasker, and I prided myself on that. I really did. The ability to get multiple things done was what I considered my superpower. But I watched a news story. I watched a news story on it. This was years ago. But it concluded that multitasking makes us stupid. It does. It does. You're breaking your brain. Instead of you being able to focus on one thing, you are breaking your brain up into pieces. It's never been able to focus on one thing. It's always going. So not only does it make us stupid, it promotes the inability to focus on one thing at a time. One thing at a time. I haven't even been able to focus on one thing at a time yet. That's how much I have dedicated my brain to multitasking, for taking on a lot of projects at one time. The more, the better. The more, better. The more, the better. For real. For real. But to avoid this, focus on the task at hand and give it your full attention. Set aside specific times for each task and stick to them. I think that's the biggest takeaway here. Stick to the time frames that you give yourself. I know and understand that this is not always possible. There's a lot of things that we do have to multitask. Especially parents. You got school teachers. There's a whole bunch of people who need to multitask. So if you must multitask, break things up into smaller, more manageable chunks. You will find that once you stop multitasking and focus on one thing at a time, the quality of your work will shoot up. It will increase severely. Another time waster is lack of organization and planning. It was Benjamin Franklin, once again, that said, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Knowing what you are supposed to be doing at any given time is priceless. It really is. It's priceless. This is why planning is a key factor to avoid wasting time. It's far too easy to take the fly by the seat of my plans. I don't need to plan. It's a whatever type attitude by not knowing what tasks you should prioritize. This can often lead to goals never being accomplished and many hours wasted. The takeaway here is to make a plan, schedule your time, and ensure you stay organized with how you structure your day. If you're struggling with planning, there is an app for that. Consider using apps like Monday.com, Slack, Asana, or Notion to help you stay on track. There is an app for almost anything you need. Real talk, just look it up, do you some research. Another time waster is not knowing when to say no. Now, we talk about this all the time. You cannot keep saying yes to everybody and still be the best version of you. Learn to say no. It is far too easy to try to impress people by saying that you are available to every task that comes your way. It might make you look good for a minute. It might make you look good for the people, but it's not okay for you. Being a team player is awesome, but know when to draw the line. Better known, as we talk about all the time, creating boundaries. Trying to do too much will only cause you to become overwhelmed and stressed and ultimately unable to complete the task you agreed to. You can't even do it. Or you can complete those tasks at the expense of your obligations and goals. We must learn at least when to say no. We must learn when to say no. Another time waster is using outdated equipment or technology or otherwise. Using old equipment that hasn't been updated or service ready can be a time waster. And we know what that is. When our laptops and PCs do more thinking than actually working, or our computers and our printers and our apps keep freezing, so you spend more time rebooting than getting stuff done. Yeah, I'm gonna need you to avoid that. It wastes so much time. Just make sure you regularly update your stuff. And if needed, you might have to invest in some new hardware. You might have to. You might have to get your stuff serviced. Come on now. Come on. We can do better than that. We can do better than that. Other time wasters may include cell phones. We got some chatty Cathys. If you have to turn your phone off, turn your phone off. But research shows that people stare at their phones on an average of 221 times a day. That's a lot, but I think we do. I believe it. I believe it 100%, even if it's just a glance at. But talking on the phone, that's almost, I would put that actually next to scrolling on Facebook. Because you get people that just be talking. Y'all ain't talking about nothing. Another time waster is commuting. Commuting back and forth sometimes can take up a lot of time and energy, especially if we don't have a plan. If we don't have some type of plan, we don't know where we're going. We just gonna go. Commuting, especially during peak hours, can literally waste a whole lot of time. Another one is not delegating. Something delegating is a waste of time because you have to put more time, I guess, into explaining the task when you could have just did it yourself within that time. And I get it. But actually delegating tasks can save time, can save you a lot of time. Let me change it. Can save me a lot of time. I don't know where this fits, but it does. Worrying is a waste of time. Worrying can be a huge distraction and it's sapping out your energy, even when you're trying to work on other things. Ineffective communication is a waste of time. Looking for information. Sometimes if we don't properly plan and we're looking for information, that can take up a lot of, we ain't no research lab. You got other stuff to do. So you looking for information sometimes can be such a waste of time. Also clutter. If your surrounding is cluttered, more likely than not, your brain is cluttered. Your mind is cluttered. Your heart is cluttered. Your thoughts are cluttered. Clutter produces clutter. Clutter begets clutter. So let's get that together. Week 3 tip, change your environment. So that doesn't necessarily always mean where you live, but it does really mean where you go, who you hang out with, what you subscribe to. I talk about that. If you haven't checked out the podcast, please go check out the podcast. But in there, we talk about what you subscribe to. And one of those things was on Facebook. We scroll. We spend a lot of time on social media. So the best thing to do is to subscribe to the things you want to be. So if you want to be a realtor, if you want to be a notary, if you want to be a business owner, if you want to be an author, subscribe to those things. So that way, while you're scrolling all day long, as we do, you're seeing the things that you are preparing yourself to be. Subscribe to where you want to go. I'll say that again. Subscribe to where you want to go, where you want to be, who you want to be around. If you have some people that are influences to you, people that you admire, follow them, see what they do. The other thing that helped me was subscribing to people who were 100% always talking about business or Jesus or praise reports and positivity and affirmations. And you just scroll down and all day you see affirmations. You can't help but jump on that. You see what I'm saying? You can't help but jump into it if that's what you're seeing every day. So yeah, I want to see the positive quotes. I want to see people who were here before, but now they're here now because they worked on being the best version of themselves. You see what I'm saying? So change your environment. You might have to get rid of some of them friends. Don't be mad, just do it. You might have to get rid of some of the people you hang with. That's friends, that's family, that's the people at your job, the people at your church, people at the doctor's office. I don't really care. You're going to have to change who you hang around with. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You have to change. Be around people. I promise you that conversation is different. You ever sit at the table or you sit around people and all they do is talk about folks and I can't and I won't and I ain't and I won't? It's different. The conversation is so different when you're around people who aspire to be different, aspire to be great, aspire to be more used by God. The conversation is so different. You will be like, phew. You leave uplifted versus drained. You ever leave certain people and you're just drained after that and you don't even know why? That's why they are draining the life out of you. Bye for that. Your job is to protect you and your energy and where your focus goes and what your heart is in. Be careful. We say it all the time. We grew up talking about it. Be careful what goes into your eyes. Be careful what you see. Be careful what you hear, right? Be careful what you allow. Be careful what you say. Be careful, be careful, be careful. But subscribe to where you want to go. You're going to have to change your environment. You might not can't go. I know I said might not can't. You might can't go certain places anymore. You might not want to go hang out with this one or hang out. Change your environment. Go hang out with people who are doing what you want to do. Go hang out with the people who you aspire to be like. Do that. So that is week 3, tip 3. Change your environment. I'll see you again next week for another tip on how to be the best version of yourself. Remember to like the page, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and always check us out at www.sisterscafeinc.com. See you next week. Ridding yourself of time wasters is guaranteed to do a few things: enhance your overall productivity, enable your ability to effectively manage your time, boost job satisfaction, it promotes setting clear objectives, it helps with good decision making, and it facilitates healthier habits. Time wasters can be detrimental to all areas of our lives, all of them. While certain time wasters may appear harmless, they can take their toll when they become a regular habit. By understanding the most common time wasters, we can develop strategies to limit their occurrence, leading to more efficient and satisfying experiences. Also, by maintaining a solid work-life balance with reasonable expectations from ourselves and others, we can avoid the trap of procrastination and other time-wasting activities. Ultimately, by taking a mindful approach to our daily routine and staying aware of typical time wasters, we can ensure that our daily responsibilities are managed efficiently, leading to more rewarding experiences in our professional, personal, and spiritual lives. Y'all, that was a lot. That was a lot. Thank you for being here. You guys, let's not waste our time. We want to redeem the time. We want to be good stewards. Being a good steward is not just because of money. Being a good steward is not just money. It's not just a finance thing. That's your health. That's your relationships. That is your time. It's what you're given. You be a good steward over it. We want to be good stewards. Being a good steward is how we become the best versions of ourselves. Again, don't forget to go check me out at www.sisterscafeinc.com. Sisters Cafe is at the Manifestation Conference this week. It's Manifestation, y'all. August 17th at 11 o'clock. We are having Sisters Cafe Summer Brunch. Y'all don't forget, the tickets are $35, but I think it's a little late. You can still come. You just ain't gonna get no food. But I would love to see your face. I would love to see your face. Hey everybody, welcome to week 4, tip 4. Tip 4 for week 4. Tip number 4 is to erase and replace. And what that means is you're going to erase all negativity, all of it. People, places, things, habits, thoughts, behaviors, all of that kind of stuff. Anything negative, you're going to erase it and replace it with positive things. We often deal with negative thoughts. Often. I can't do this. I'm not pretty. I'm not good enough for that. I'm not enough for that or for him or for them. I can't get the job. I'm not qualified. I'm too fat. I'm too skinny. I'm too tall. I'm too short. We have a lot of things that we put on ourselves. We have a lot of negativity we bring to ourselves, in addition to the people that we hang around. Some people are so
negative. Like, my gosh, you wonder, is there any positivity in your mouth anywhere? It's draining. It's sincerely draining. So we want to get away from those kind of people. Things that make us feel horrible about ourselves. Places that we go that we don't feel like we can be the best version of ourselves. Anything negative, and I mean anything, I don't care who it is or what it is. You have to get rid of that. You're going to erase that and replace it with all things positive. And it's easy, just work on this. Your challenge this week is to erase and replace. So as soon as you get a negative thought in your mind, replace it with something quickly. I'll give you an example. We often say, oh, I can't do that. Boom, I can do that. Not only can I do it, I can do all things through Christ, period. So that is what we do. Every time we think of something, oh, that looks bad on me. Nope, I'm real cute right now. That's real cute. We have to replace it. Oh, I'm not tall enough. I'm not short enough. I'm not skinny enough. I'm not enough. Yeah, I'm more than enough. Absolutely. I am way more than enough. So you have to replace those negative thoughts with positive thoughts. So get into that. We talked about changing your environment last time. Change your environment because your thoughts will be different. Hang around different people because your thoughts will be different. Your behavior will be different. Your habits will be different. One thing we do is we have this habit of being late all the time or procrastinating. And that's just one example. Work on getting there 30 minutes early. Start that. You can choose your habits. You can work on certain things to change that. If you're always late, change that. I'm gonna just be early. And after a while, it'll become a habit, just like being late was a habit. So that's what you want to do. And if you haven't already, check out the podcast on Spotify. I don't remember which episode it is, but it is called Erase and Replace. And I go into more depth about how to do that. So go to Spotify, so make sure you subscribe. So that way, every time a podcast comes out, you'll already know. Same with YouTube. You'll already know if it's up because it'll notify you. So week 4, tip 4, erase and replace. Make sure you check me out at www.sisterscafeinc.com. See you next week for another tip on how to be the best version of you.
Have y'all visited the store? Go over to www.sisterscafeinc.com where you can purchase the book, the t-shirts. Y'all, we got some new we got the Check Your Squad t-shirts that are out and ready for purchase. You can grab your cup, you can grab your tumbler, or you can grab your mugs. But y'all go over to the store and send me a message and let me know you was in there browsing. But I thank you for tuning in. Again, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss nothing else. And I will see you again next week for another segment of Sisters Cafe here on Power Influence Radio.
It don't matter. Just say